We're back in Little Cup today to try out some Nimble and some Quaxley. I really have been impressed with Nimble. I think it definitely has its weaknesses, but Nimble is quite strong against certain matchups, and Quaxley is also pretty good. I think in this particular game, one thing I do need to prioritize is getting up Stealth Rock. I don't want the Magnemite to have it sturdy, if at all possible. However, they do have a Rapid Spinner, so I don't know how easy it will be for me to get up the hazards and keep them up. As it turns out, they lead off with their own Diglett. I'm going to Earthquake them first, because they may be Focus Ash. Oh, thank goodness. I'm Life Orb, I'll kill them, even if they're Eviolite, but if they were Focus Ash, then they could have killed me back. That would have been a problem. I'm going to click Protect here, because I can stall out the Fake Out. And then if they decide to go for Faint here, I don't know. I think my Fungus is probably okay against this. I have Fungus here to help deal with the Toedscool a bit better, as well as to get off spores on whatever I want to go for. However, in this particular instance, I'm actually going to go for Foul Play. The other good thing that Girafarig does, or Fungus does, is as Regenerator. So we have Foul Play for a lot of reasons. One of them is Girafarig. Girafarigs have been running a lot of... I'm going to go hard Pawniard here. Yeah, here we go. And now watch this. I'm Choice Scarf Pawniard. So the question is, does Choice Scarf Pawniard Ironhead kill Pawniard Girafarig? Does it kill Girafarig? Level 5. And the Ironhead does 50% minimum. I'm going to go for the Ironhead. Actually, okay, so here's the problem. I can go for the Terra Psychic and kill them. I think I'm actually going to go back into... Do I need Fungus? I still need Fungus. I'm going to Terra Psychic here and go for the Psycho Cut. Oh, thank goodness that worked out. Good. So that's why we're running Terra Psychic on Pawniard. Now, Pawniard does not get Psycho Cut, if I'm not mistaken, this generation. At least not right now. I don't know why it doesn't get Psycho Cut, but it doesn't. So you have to run Terra Blast, but that's fine. And this is something I wanted to get up the Stealth Rock for, but it's fine. I'll just... do I need to keep this around? I do need to probably keep this around. It's really good for the Glimmet and other guys. What don't I need? I like Fungus still. Do I like Quaxley? Quaxley? Nah. They're gonna go for Flash Cannon here, right? Yeah, yes they do. And if they are Choice Scarfed, which they may be, then I can actually go for the Rapid Spin here. Yeah. Look at that. Look at that guy's points. I mean, that's not the highest I've ever seen in terms of points on the ladder, but this guy knew what he was doing, and I actually profited because he knew what he was doing. So you go in, I'm a Psychic type now. You could have gone for an Electric move, but you don't want to get trapped as a Choice Scarf Pokemon. I know you know that I have Diglett, and you know that I know how to make predictions because I just predicted your Girafarig. So I know that I can go Quaxley. Why don't I need Quaxley? Meowth is going to beat up Quaxley and kill it. I don't have an Ice move for Toedscool, and Toedscool is faster than base Quaxley. I am Eviolite, so I'm a little bit bulkier, so I could probably eat a Giga Drain, but it's not the greatest, I don't think. And it is decent against Glimmet, that is true. But I also have a Choice Scarf Pawniard with Terra Blast, and I also have my Diglett, so I don't care about Glimmet at all. So I don't need Quaxley. I'm sacking this Pokemon. If they go for an Electric move, then that's a good play on my opponent's part. They predicted me not to go into Diglett. But if they go for Flash Cannon, a lot of Magnemite are running the Choice Scarf because it's such a good item on Magnemite. And then now I resist that. I know you're choice locked. I can go for Liquidation or Rapid Spin or whatever. I Rapid Spin first because Liquidation after Rapid Spin should kill Glimmet. It should put Toedscool in range of Brave Bird. And once I get a Moxie boost, you're going to have to at least sack your Magnemite's Focus Ash. Yeah. So unfortunately for my opponent, because they know how to play Little Cup, I was able to predict them and come out with a win. I usually do poorer against more volatile opponents. All right. This is an interesting opponent. They have Swablu here. Swablu is actually a really good Toadschool answer because it has Ice Beam for Toadschool as well as Natural Cure. So if it gets spored, it doesn't care. It only 2 times resists the Giga Drain, and it is immune to the Earth Power. So in terms of Toadschool answers, I actually would recommend using Swablu. They also have the Giraffrig, which is a major problem still, and the Meowth. They've got Pawniard. We do have a Brick Break for our own Pawniard to deal with that to some extent. They also have Krogunk, which is going to be an issue. Okay. I want to lead off with my... What do I want to lead off with here? I don't know what I want to lead off with actually at all. I'm going to lead off with Nimble, as they usually lead off with Meowth. And I'm going to go hard into Fungus here. I don't want to stay in as they go Krogunk. I think that's a fine play on their part as well. So now I can just go for the Foul Play as they go for Ice Punch. I'm going to Spore now. Spore, they shouldn't kill me with Ice Punch, I don't think. And I can always regenerate this back. And if they stay in and they don't wake up with a first turn wake, then I can trap them and kill them with my Diglett. And getting rid of the Krogunk could be really nice, especially because if they have priority, then that could be a problem if I can get a Quaxley sweep or against my Pawniard if I need to get like vacuum waved. That'd be a problem. Okay, good. They went for a priority move and they didn't get it. So they lose their Krogunk, which is really fantastic for me. As they go Diglett, or as I'm in with Diglett, so they probably go with Meowth, yep. And I have Protect here, so I can stop them from doing that nonsense. Now, I don't know what item Meowth runs nowadays. I'm actually curious. I don't know this calc off the top of my head. Meowth. Little cup all-out attacker, sure, why not? Earthquake actually does a lot of damage. Faint only does 70 to 94. I'm actually just gonna Earthquake you. Yeah. Okay, I didn't realize that, but this Diglett with the Protect, I put Protect on there specifically for that, but I didn't realize I was gonna one-shot it. That is actually crazy to me. The Meowth just dies from full. I know it's not Eviolite, but still, man, that's nuts. All right, now that I know that, I want to play a lot differently against those Meowths. What do we want to sack now? I like the Quaxley still against Larvesta. Is the Fungus useful at all? I say the Fungus is not useful at all. So I'm going to go into that. That's fine. And now I'm actually going to go into... I'll go Pawniard, just because I think I can get away with it. And now I'm going to go for the Iron Head. I should naturally outspeed them. Actually, I should Night Slash, because Night Slash will do more damage to this. Oh, Ground type Swablu. They go for Terra Blast. That's cool. At this point, I wonder how much Diglett does to Swablu. Let's try this. Let's just give him max HP, level 5, and we're gonna make it a Ground type. And take away its other typing. Earthquake does 79 to 95, but if it's Eviolite, then it only does 50 to 66, which is not in my favor. Nimble, however, Nimble does 50 to 66 with the first impression. I think what I want to do is actually go into Quaxley, because I can Rapid Spin on you first, so I can outspeed the Giraffrig. I think that'll be useful as they go hard Giraffrig. Now I go for Liquidation, and they can't set up in front of me. They've already used their Terra type. Twin Beam, Thunderbolt. Oh, Thunderbolt. Okay. Well, that's okay by me. I can go into my Diglett, and they're trapped, so this is gone now too. We were getting swept a lot by Giraffrig the other day, and I don't think that will be quite the case today. I think my team is a bit stronger against Giraffrig. I've seen a lot of interesting metagame developments more recently. I'm going to get up Stealth Rock here. I have to go for Sucker Punch. Yep, that's pretty obvious. And at this point, we sack the Fungus. We don't need this Fungus anymore. So we Spore now. As they can knock me out. I got flinched. That's very unfortunate. So I made the play that needed to be made, but it didn't work out for me. Now we're going to go Crabrawler. And I'm actually going to bulk up first, because they're always going to switch. And now I get to Drain Punch, and I'm +1. So I'm a bit more of an issue now than I was before. I have Iron Fist boosted, Drain Punch, and I think that should be an issue for them. Let's check this out real fast. Larvesta. Let's just say they're running the normal Fizz Def set, and I'm +1 attack. Thunder Punch does not... Oh. Thunder Punch does not kill quite yet. If I'm +2 attack, then it still doesn't. I'm going to substitute up. They may Will-O-Wisp here, as I actually go for rest. But I can continue to bulk up in this thing's face. And a lot of Larvesta run physical attacking movesets. And it looks like my opponent actually just left. Okay, yeah. So I'm not going to touch you if I don't know I get the kill. That would be a bad idea, because they're going to get Flame Body on me. I'm going to get burned. Next up, why do I have Substitute on this Crabrawler? Well, before I actually had Ice Punch on it, but then I was watching a lot of games today, and I noticed something. One of the mons I need Crabrawler to be able to beat, and it can't naturally, is Greavard. Greavard is actually picked up a lot in usage. And Greavard has Yawn, and I think Will-O-Wisp, both of those. If Crabrawler has Substitute up and a bulk up, well, Greavard is usually running a more defensive set, and is not going to be able to beat down Crabrawler as long as I have, like, I think one defense boost. I don't know the exact calc. But if I get a Yawn, if you Yawn me on my Substitute, then I get a free bulk up. And then you're going to have a hard time. Because what they're running now is, like, Shadow Sneak is their only stab option, if they have it. And then Ice Fang, Stomping Tantrum. Ice Fang specifically for the Toadstool, and Stomping Tantrum, I think, for Glimmet, and maybe something else. I don't know exactly why they're running that one. But Crabrawler with the Substitute actually sort of beats that 1v1, I'm pretty sure. And so here, in this case, I still have the Substitute. If you have a Will-O-Wisp, Morning Sun, I don't actually know if it gets Morning Sun. If it has Rest, then that's the only option. And I think Larvesta is not that good of a Pokemon currently. I understand running Larvesta for Pokemon like Nimble, but if you only can use Rest, that's not a good set. That's not gonna cut it. And so if they were stuck like that, then I can just bulk up twice in this thing's face, get up to +6. If you're running Flare Blitz, Flame Charge, U-Turn, I don't know what you're running, but I can just bulk up to +6 and then you can't kill me. And I don't care if you even burn me at that point. I'll just wear you down. And I have recovery in my Drain Punch. So yeah, that was really a good endgame on my part, I thought. Let's see if we can get another game here nice and quick. I've been actually pleasantly surprised at how quickly the games have been coming out. Let's lead off with the Diglett. I want to lead off with Diglett specifically because there is a Shelter here. And if Shelter's running Focus Sash, I want to make sure I can get up Stealth Rock. It looks like my opponent doesn't have any hazard control. So if they lead off with the Meowth, which they may, then we already have seen that we can just kill the Meowth in one hit. If they lead off with Shelter, then we'll be a little bit sad. But we protect against Meowth, and then we kill it with Earthquake. As they go for Faint, and then they die. Fantastic. So they may decide to go Shelter now, but they actually decide to go Fungus, which I am more than okay with. Ah, it's not Fungus, that's Dorua. Good play on my opponent's part. Because that's something that I would expect to come out on Diglett to try to just get off a quick Giga Drain. So disguising the Zorua as a Fungus, that's smart. I can dig that. Alright. I'm gonna go Nimble here. I'm gonna First Impression. That should go before any Prankster moves. So that'll go before their Reflect or whatever they want to go for here. I'm assuming this is just screens offense. We do have Scarf Brick Break, and I think that'll be pretty useful. But I don't actually know how much this is going to do. it'll be a neutral hit because it's Dark Fairy. One of the interesting things about Tinted Lens is that it does let you do a lot of damage to otherwise resisted hits, but it doesn't let you... I'm not going to sack this. We're going to go Fungus on you or Pawnyard. Let's go Pawnyard. If they just go for Rock Blast here, as they actually decide not to, I'm just going to go for the Brick Break here. Okay. Now we go for First Impression again, and we should kill. A bit unfortunate that we don't have Sucker Punch on this particular set, but I couldn't really fit Sucker Punch. I want Iron Head, I want Night Slash, because I don't think it's a good idea to only have one form of Dark Stab being Sucker Punch. And I think you need Brick Break right now where there's all these screens going on. Fortunately for my opponent, they have no bug type switch in on their team. I don't know why they don't have a bug type switch in. And their shelter is -1, so they will die because we saw that it did that much damage before. And look at their team. You got Dark type, you got a Grass type, you got a Dark and Fairy type, and then you've got another Psychic type. So pretty good for us, I would say. I think I'm gonna go into Fungus now. I don't need this quite as much. And if I can just Spore here as a parting shot, that's fair. Into Girafarig. Now I see that they went to sleep, so this is either... It's probably not Zura. I think it's still... Zura is going to be disguised as Fungus, so this is probably Girafarig. If I go for... Sludge Bomb, maybe. Okay, they actually double into Zorua, expecting me to go into something else. I'm not sure what. If I'd gone into Nimble there, you would have been really in trouble, wouldn't you have? So I don't really know how I feel about that play. Quaxley is a Pokemon I don't really think I need. So if they decide to lock into Flamethrower or something, then that'll be fine by me. But, nah. I'm gonna actually sack my other Eviolite here. That way I can take a lot less of a hit. And now I'm going to go for the Substitute, as now I can bulk up. This we know is the Impidimp because their Zorua just came out. So now I can bulk up in front of this. They can Parting Shot. I don't actually remember how Parting Shot works behind Substitute. But they have Reflect, Light Screen, maybe Spirit Break or something. Then they also have Thunder Wave. So the Parting Shot is a sound move, I suppose, so it goes through Substitute. That's fine. Now we know this is Zorua. Let's just Drain Punch here to go for Foul Play. I'm actually a little bit surprised that that hit broke my Substitute because I'm +1 defense. And mine is just neutral attack, and I'm going to resist it. I'm a little surprised that broke, but I'll take it. They go into Impidimp again. They can get up another Reflect. But I don't really know how this is going to play out. Their Girafarig hasn't burned any turns of sleep yet. I'm going to sub up again. Okay, that's fine. Now I'm just going to Drain Punch you. I got a crit. I got a crit. I don't know if that mattered. It probably mattered. What if I Terastallize into a Fighting type? That does a lot of damage. And all I gotta do now, because they may be early bird, in which case they'll wake up this turn and probably kill me. All I gotta do now is sack Quaxley, because they'll probably wake up this turn. Yep, and then we go Nimble. And we go for First Impression. And even if they do go Fungus, I can just U-turn out on it. Okay, now a U-turn here. Because we can just waste Reflect turns by going into my own Fungus. And now I can just Sludge Bomb a bunch. Get them low. And we'll win the game. There's literally nothing my opponent can do at this point as far as I am aware. The Terastallize into a Steel type. That actually works against them because now I can Spore them. And now we go Crabrawler. And I am a fighting type. And I will kill you. Slurp. Alright, I feel really satisfied about the way this video went today. I gave a lot of thought and consideration into this team. And I will say, I do think that the Pawnyard is a little bit of a gimmick. Having a Choice Scarf on your Pawnyard means you're a lot weaker than Eviolite defensively, and you're not going to have the same kind of play that a normal Pawnyard would, where you have the option to run Stealth Rock or to Swords Dance and becoming an actual threat. Pawnyard as a Choice Scarf is best used as a aha gotcha moment against Girafarig and a couple other Pokemon. But besides that, it's not very good. The Diglett was a bit of a surprise. I put Protect on here specifically for First Impression on Nimble and for Fake Out on Meowth, but I was not expecting it to actually be able to kill Meowth from full. I was not aware that that was a thing. I'm sure more experienced Little Cup players would be like, hey, that's like one of the reasons Meowth's not that strong. And I'd be like, well, I didn't know that. Anyway, that worked really well. Quaxly, I didn't get to do too much with it in this video, but Quaxly has actually proven itself to be a pretty decent Little Cup Pokemon. Nimble, especially because it's got Rapid Spin. Like, look at that utility. And you can run Aqua Jet instead of Roost on this set as well. I think that's really a good Pokemon. Nimble is, of course, really scary. You just run Triple Bug plus Sucker Punch. And I'd say don't sleep on Crabrawler. This video has shown that Crabrawler is an actual problem for teams that aren't prepared for it. All right, before you guys go, there's one game I watched today, and I want to go over this game with you guys because I think it is really a cool game. So let's go over to it right now. So this game was between two players, and one of them was in the 1400s, one of them was right before the 1400s. So this is a high ladder game. And I want to go over a few Pokemon on here. Let's look at some Pokemon and draw some trends from the Little Cup metagame. So one of the things we notice is that both of our opponents have, both of these guys have Voltorb. And Voltorb is an interesting Pokemon because it can set up dual screens, and it can have Volt Switch and Explosion or Self-Destruct. I forget which one it gets. Maybe it gets Explosion or Self-Destruct. And then, as we'll see, it can also Terra Ice, and that gives it an actual coverage option. In the past, Voltorb and Electrode have been pretty bad Pokemon because they don't have any coverage. But with Terastallizing, it can actually do that. So watch out for that. But it's very interesting that both of these guys have it. Another Pokemon they both share in common is Mudbray. I had a Diglett on my team, and I think that Diglett actually showed how good it was. But Mudbray is also a very good team, especially for a more balanced, focused team. And we'll see how Mudbray gets used in this video, or in this game here. Deerling is a Pokemon I definitely want to discuss right now. Deerling is really a good fungus answer because it's immune to the grass type moves, or is immune to spores specifically, and it is going to resist Giga Drain. As a pure grass type, you're also going to, or normal grass rather, you're going to resist the earth power. I say pure grass as opposed to fungus, who does not resist the earth power because it's part poison type, right? So you're a grass type, so you're gonna resist earth power, and you're gonna resist Giga Drain. So they can Rapid Spin on you, and that's it. And Deerling has a number of really annoying moves that are pretty anti-meta. So usually what I've seen so far, they run Headbutt, Zen Headbutt, Thunder Wave, and Synthesis. And those four moves are actually really threatening. We can also see Greavard on this side of the field, as well as Nimble. We all know what Nimble does. Toadscool, we've seen 1,000 times so far, so we all know what Toadscool does. Tinkatink is sort of doing in this tier what Tinkaton does in a higher tier, just being defensive and pretty annoying. So let's get into this battle. So we got Glimmet versus the Tinkatink. They're going to switch out because it's a really bad matchup. We can see that the knockoff does 1,000,000 damage. Like, what the heck? This is Mudbray. It's really strong. Some Mudbray are running defensive, and some of them are running Choice Scarf. As we can see, this one is a Choice Scarf. So that would go some way to explaining why it did so much damage. But Choice Scarf Mudbray is actually pretty powerful, and it's really good if you want to punch holes in things like a Girafarig or what have you. So Mudbray being Choice Scarf is actually something I've been seeing a bit of as well. They go into Quaxly on the Earthquake, and you can see it took quite a bit, but they're no longer Choice Scarfed, so they're forced to switch out. They predict that and go into the Tinkatink, and we can see the Greavard is super bulky. So Greavard actually has a fluffy ability as its hidden ability, which sort of differentiates it from Houndstone. Houndstone is running Sand Forest, right? But Greavard has the fluffy ability, so it's actually decently bulky in Little Cup. And we can see that they take, from a super effective hit, less damage than the Mudbray did from a neutral hit, which is funny. Anyway, They also had an Eviolite, I suppose, which made a difference. As they go for Yawn, and they're forced to switch now, so they go for Ice Fang into the Mudbray. They don't get any hacks, so that's fine. They go Voltorb here, and here we have another instance where Yawn comes into play. You're forced to switch out. Here they go into their own Mudbray, and they're going to go into Nimble here, I guess, predicting them to go for Earthquake, and it'll be a resisted hit, and they can get off a first impression. We can see here that it's not going to do that much damage. Like, look at that, 33% from U-turn. And it is Life Orb. So Mudbray, the bulky version, sort of goes to show that Nimble isn't in an insurmountable wall that you have to try to climb. First of all, Protect shuts down first impression. And there's always been a place in Little Cup for Protect, especially when Trapinch was a thing. So it's not like people aren't running Protect on their Pokemon anyway. And even though you have Tinted Lens, if your stats don't match up well against the bulky Pokemon, well, you're still not going to do damage because they're bulky. It only lets you hit strongly Pokemon that would normally resist your hit, but it's not this crazy, it beats everything ability that some might say it is. So Mudbray doesn't take that much damage from the Nimble, and that's going to hurt the Nimble in the long run. Now we go into Toadstool because we do have Giga Drain, or at least we can threaten Giga Drain, as they go for Sleep Talk, and it is our only ground resist. So we saw before that the Mudbray went for Rest. So Rest, Sleep Talk, Earthquake, and then either Rock Slide or Heavy Slam is a pretty decent Mudbray set that's been known for some time. So you have to say, what's my ground type switch in on this team? We don't have one, so Toadstool is by default. Now they have to switch out as they go into Deerling. Deerling takes the knockoff fairly decently, and Toadstool can't do jack. So here we can go for Zen Headbutt. That does nothing to Greavard. You can see the Greavard being really bulky is actually a really good dealing answer. So I don't know why people started running Greavard, but because people have started running Deerling because of the Toadstool, right? People ran Toadstool. It's a very good Pokemon. People start running Deerling to counter it. Well, people start running Greavard to counter the Deerling. You can Thunder Wave the Greavard, and that is annoying, but you can't Headbutt it. And that's the main thing you want to be clicking it with this Pokemon is Headbutt. So this Pokemon can come in and be really fat and annoying. And it has Ice Fang. That's going to be a problem for you. So here we can see they get unlucky and get another Rest. This guy here goes for a Shadow Sneak here, hoping that they get the crit or the kill, but they do not. So the Mudbray is able to go back to sleep. Bit unfortunate. What are you going to do? You have to go back to Toadstool here. You have no other ground type switch-ins, and you know they can Rest Talk. They're getting very unlucky with their rest turns, so they're going to go back to Deerling here. They predict that and go for Knockoff. Fine play, but I think they should have switched more so than anything else. They switch into Nimble. I think here you should always U-turn, as this guy decides not to do that, and they just go for first impression. I believe you should have always U-turned there. They get a crit on the Tinkatink there, which is actually decently useful, but here we see another really cool tech. So Tinkatink has Pickpocket. I don't know what other things it gets. I think it gets Mold Breaker, but Pickpocket is really cool in Little Cup, because in Little Cup, you got items flying this way and that, right? You got Knockoff, which this Pokemon has, which is actually sort of runs counter to Pickpocket, but you've got Eviolites getting knocked off, you've got Oran Berries getting eaten, including your own, and to have the ability to just steal an opponent's item is actually pretty nifty. However, I don't think it does a lot for the Tinkatink in this game, and being bulkier with an Eviolite might have just been better overall, I'm not sure. In any case, they go for Knockoff again, the Mudbray is almost dead, and it probably doesn't have any recovery because it was Choice Scarfed before. They go for Earthquake, and it does a ton of damage, but they died as Zen Headbutt. So they have the Deerling low at least, which is quite good. Go to Nimble, probably should U-turn again, but they go for First Impression, which I don't know how I feel about that. They are no longer Life Orb because it got stolen, but funnily enough, the Tinkatink actually goes for the Knockoff and loses a lot of health because of the Life Orb damage. Sort of funny. Anyway, Glimmet comes out, and they go Quaxly. This is a good matchup for the Quaxly because they can have Aqua Jet or Liquidation, and as soon as they get a Moxie boost, then that's sort of GG. Going for Rapid Spin there wasn't the worst idea, just because you want the speed boost to deal with Toadstool and Voltorb, and if you can get a Moxie boost off of the Glimmet in case they stay in, then you'll be set up to sweep. But unfortunately for them, they go Greavard. Here the Roost comes into play. I think this is one of the games that really told me you need to run Roost on your Quaxly. because giving your Quaxley some form of longevity, especially if you're running Eviolite on it, is actually really invaluable. It helps you out against these Pokemon that just sort of sit there and be fat. Now they get a defense drop, which is quite nice. Here, the Yawn, I saw that and I said, oh wow, what do I have on my team for Greavard? I don't have anything. I better get substitute Crabrawler. And I think that really it proved its worth. Greavard's everywhere running Yawn. Voltorb comes out and Terra Ices here because it is, I don't know why it was slower, to be truth be told. I think it must just be like a bulky Voltorb or something, but it goes after, and we can see it. Oh yeah, it's Zorua. Sorry, I forgot. It's been a while since I watched this. Zorua comes out and it is Choice Scarfed, so it outspeeds. It pops the ice, which is really cool. I think they might want to have saved it because like an ice Voltorb is actually really powerful in this game, so I don't think they should have sacked it here. Keeping that for the Deerling would have been useful. Keeping it for the Quaxley would have been useful. Keeping it for the Mudbray would have been useful to some extent, as long as you killed from full, but maybe not because you haven't broken the Eviolite. And Voltorb, wouldn't have been the end of the world if you'd have kept it for that either. But instead, you sack it to the Zorua, which I think maybe you could have sacked your Greavard instead. That's just me, though. Anyway, they go Nimble here, which is fine. Once again, I would have U-turned because you need to make a play. You're in the back, and Mudbray is such a safe play. You got to do something, man. Anyway, the Mudbray comes out. They get rest again. So this opponent is getting bailed out because the Mudbray can't catch a break. They go for knockoff here, predicting them to go back into Deerling, but it doesn't work out for them. Here, they go for Earth Power to do more damage. I don't know if they had Giga Drain or whatever, but Earth Power is fine. They go for Earth Power again. They can't break this Mudbray. They have knocked it off though, so that's useful. Would have been more useful if they'd have kept their Voltorb though. And finally, I believe here, yeah, the Mudbray is going to get the Earthquake off. So the Mudbray is low, but they've gotten rid of one of the fastest Pokemon on their team remaining. They've got a Glimmet. A lot of Glimmets have been running Salak Berry. I forget, is this a Salak Berry one? They get Toxic Debris up, which is cool. Yeah, this is a Salak Berry one. And they get the Flinch, so that's what I thought. So they get the Flinch, but they get the Salak Berry off, so it doesn't really matter. And this is the Zorua. We all know this, except for this guy who forgot about it. And so then they die. Here, they should probably just sack the Zorua, but they go into Quaxley, which I feel like was not the greatest play because now the Nimble is back. But I guess the problem is what do you do here? You sack the Greavard, yeah, and then you go into Nimble. Even if somehow without the Life Orb you were able to kill this Voltorb, then the Zorua would still outspeed you and probably kill you. But unfortunately, they're not able to kill the Voltorb. So these Voltorbs must be running some really bulky set. I'm not exactly sure what the set is exactly, but I thought this was a really good game. First of all, these are two skilled opponents who know what they're doing, and we can see the evolution of the metagame, right? You have the Toadstool, and to oppose it rises Deerling, and then in opposition to Deerling and a few other Pokemon, you've got the Greavards and these Voltorbs. It's weird that there was a Voltorb Ditto. I don't really usually see a lot of those, but this is a Pokemon I'm going to keep my eye out on. But yeah, I thought I'd just share this battle at the end of the video because I thought it was really cool. Anyway, this has been a really great video, really productive. I really enjoyed the team we got to use today, and this was a fantastic battle. But yeah, that's it for me today, and I'll catch you guys next time.